just because we moms and we're a nurse, that don't mean that we can't work. Or just because we're moms, we got all these kids and we trying to do it by ourselves. Or you're married and your husband working and he can't take the kids to school, he can't get off and pick them up. Hey, share this video with them. Listen, some people told me about these jobs, but a lot of people really didn't tell me. I just went out for myself and I looked and I found them, okay? Because you know, as being a nurse, you can work so many places. I mean, you wouldn't believe the jobs that you can do. So, if you're interested in those jobs, stay tuned. Okay, so I have been a nurse now for 7 years, 8 years in August. Yay. I'm currently an LPN and I have worked so many places. So, number one, first job I had was through a home health agency. I work with peds. I have always wanted to be a pediatrician. I have always loved kids, hence why I probably have 4 kids. And if I did not get these tubes tied, I would have more probably. I want to be a neonatal nurse, which I still think I want to go into NICU when I get my RN license. So yeah, you actually go into the home and you take care of your patients. Now, if you're not comfortable with going into people's homes, which before I got my nursing license, I was a CNA and I did home health. I was a home health aide, but I was a CNA working in a home. So I've always been comfortable working in people's homes. I never had to feel comfortable working in patients' homes. Home health would definitely be an option. So pediatric home health. The second place you can do is a home health agency. So a home health agency would be one of the agencies I just mentioned. Also, they have different agencies where they're called home health, okay? So make sure there is a difference. You can go in and you can work 10, 8, 12-hour shifts in the home. So I mostly did night shift when I did peds, and I did 10 to 6 a.m., 10 p to 6 a.m., or I did 9 p.m. to 7 a.m., or I would do like 11 to 7. It just depends on the patient's case and what's going on with the patient. Types of patients that I had were like G-tube patients and trach patients, okay? So you can also do home health for adults as well, and those cases can be 8 hours, 10 hours, or 12 hours as well, or they can be overnight. They may be 24-hour shifts, or they may be 18-hour shifts, 16-hour shifts. It just depends on the patient case. Those are home health agencies. That's the second choice, okay? So make sure when you call in, you ask those questions, because you can work for a home health agency where you're a home visit nurse. That's the third type a nurse you can do. These places are flexible. I told these places when I wanted to work, okay? I changed jobs and I needed something flexible because I got pregnant, and I'm like, okay, I can't work nights, it's too hard, but I need something where I could tell them. So almost every job I had, I was able to tell them when I wanted to work, but I didn't get benefits. So if I didn't work, I didn't get PTO. If I didn't work, I didn't have also I didn't have health insurance. I had to get it from elsewhere. It wasn't through the job, okay? Also, you can do home visits where you go in and you take care of a patient, but you're there for an hour. You can see up to 40 patients a week, or you can see up to 10 patients a week. It depends on you. You can go in and you would teach patients about their blood pressures, if they had a heart attack, what their diet needs to be, if they have wound care. I did a lot of heart transplant, open heart surgery patients where they will leave them. They get their open heart patients up, walking the next day, and they get them stable and they send them home, and then they send a home health nurse in, and they will have staples here. You know, they open you up here in the chest and you have staples here, and you have to do their wound care, and you make sure their blood pressure is stable. You make sure they understand their medications. You make sure they understand their home recommendations, what they should and shouldn't be doing. You make sure that they're staying on top of their appointments. Now, to do home visits, they expect you to have at least a year experience, because I know for me, I wanted to do this coming right out of school. But after I got my 1 year experience, I understood why they needed you to have 1 year experience. It's not so much about that you may not understand nursing, because you have gone to nursing school and you have passed your boards, true enough. But it is like different when you get into actually working as a nurse. I learned so much working as a nurse, going into these patients' homes, dealing with the family, dealing with the patient. It's a different dynamic working in the home, because you're coming into these people's home. You know, you have to respect them. So that's why they want you to have a year experience. experience, because working in a hospital and nursing home is definitely different when you go into the home. Okay, those are the type of things you would do as a visit nurse. You would make sure they're managing their medications, make sure they understand every medication side effects, what they should and shouldn't be eating, what they should and should be doing, making sure they're checking their blood sugars, they're checking their insulin, and making, you're managing their care in the home. Okay, so that's another job that you can do. I think I'm on number 3. So that's home visit. You also can do hospice. Hospice is good. I did hospice through 2 different agencies, and I loved it. I have a heart for hospice. I'm going back to hospice after 4 years. I haven't been in hospice, and I'm actually having orientation tomorrow through an agency. Okay, so you can work hospice. Number 5, you can work for agencies. Okay, so agencies, I love agency work because they're like a temp agency, except through nursing. So you tell them when you want to work. Now you can get on a contract, which I have right now, but I had that particular case is having issues, so I'm not on that case right now. So that's why I have backup. I have 2 other places I'm hired through, but I worked through one of the other ones. But now I'm able to call, hey, I need some work. You have some work? I called them today, and they actually sending me somewhere tomorrow, literally. And I'm working today and another day already. So always have a couple of jobs. Agency work is good. I have done clinics where I go out and I do TB tests, flu shots, and I've worked in a adult daycare center where they have a nurse, and the nurse makes sure that, so the residents come and they stay there just like a regular child daycare, but they have medications that needs to be given. So you would give the medications. I gave them in the morning and in the afternoon, and I would leave. So it was like a half a day work. I did that. That was fun because I love my older people. They're so sweet and cute. So that's also another job that you can do as well. Work in a daycare center as well. So say you want to work like a 9 to 5. You can also work at a daycare. They have medical daycares. We have quite a few here in Jacksonville, Florida. My twins, actually, I had patients when I was a pediatric nurse, and then my twins actually went to one of those my daycares that my patients were at, and they were awesome. They have CNAs and they have nurses. So you had the nurse oversee the CNA, and they're awesome. Some of them, it just depends. You just decide where you want to work, but it's usually 9 to 5 or 8 to 4, 8 to 5. It just depends. But if you want to work where you're going to be able to be on the same schedule with your kids, you're going to also be off the same days that your kids are out of school, like that's perfect, So you could be a corporate nurse, duh. So I did 2 different positions as a corporate nurse. So I worked in the office at a home health agency. The home health agency was I was an assistant to the DON. So I did all of the all the paperwork side of the nursing. That was really interesting. I also did the medical supplies and stuff. It was a very laid back job. I also, because they found out, oh yeah, that's the other job, but because they found out I was a teacher, they also used me to go out with the marketer, because they have marketers for these home health agencies, because that's how they bring in their money. So you could also be a nurse and you could be a marketer. But I went out with the marketer, and she would go to these assisted living facilities and doctor's offices and talk to them about different things, like what they needed to do to transition their patients into home health. And so I would actually go as a nurse and talk to the doctor's offices about that, and talk to the doctors. I would talk to the doctors about, and the residents at the assisted living facility, about high cholesterol, about heart failure, or about hypertension. I would teach them and what they need to do, to keep their blood pressure down, or to keep hypertension is high blood pressure, or to ways to eat, nutrition. It was awesome, y'all. I love that job. I never knew that I would like to go out and talk to people, but I love community nursing. That's what it is. Community nursing is also going out in the field and doing health fairs and the TBs and the flu shots. That's community nursing, and I love reaching out to the community and teaching them. That leads to my next job I did. Okay, it's a lot of jobs you can do as a LPN and as a mom. Okay, so my next job that I did was I was a PCT instructor. I was actually a patient care tech instructor. When you go into the hospitals, you had a PCT or the PCAs or the ACP. Actually, why it was called a PCT, because it's no different than getting your CNA. They're getting their CNA at the end of their 9 months, but they also learn how to draw blood so they could get their phlebotomy, and they also could be an EKG tech, which we just taught them how to read the EKG strips. It was an awesome job. I did that for about a year, and I loved it because it was flexible. I didn't have to be to work till 9 o'clock, even though I rushed a lot of times trying to get 4 kids to 3 different places, literally. That was what I had to go through when I had that job. Get my child to a school downtown, get my other child to a daycare on the north side, and then I had to get my 2 twins to a daycare on the west side. And the reason why the twins went to a different daycare was because they were going to a medical daycare because of the issues that they had from being preemies. So yeah, I was running myself ragged. So this lady I know told me about this job, and I was like, I'll let somebody know, but I know I don't want to stand in front of no class and teach. Listen, that was the best thing ever. But you can be an instructor, and it's part-time. A lot of the people that I work with either only had their part-time jobs because, you know, they had a husband, or, you know, they had another means of income, which I did. I was blessed to have another means of income until it was till that other means of income ran out. And so then I had to go get another job, which I did home visits. After I got off at 1, I went and saw my patients for 30 minutes to an hour, and I did that before I went and picked up my kids at 5 o'clock. So I was like all over the place, ripping and running. The other job that I did, I was a telehealth nurse, and that was my last job before I went to where I am now. And it was awesome. I worked there for almost 2 years, and the only reason I left there was because I needed to go back to school. And so that schedule was every day, 8 to 5 job, and I just couldn't go to school and do that job. So I quit that job, and then I went to where I'm working with now through a temp agency where I have a private case. Now, you can do home health private cases, and they are awesome. You hear what I say? I have another video coming up with that, because I hear a lot of times that LPNs make less than RNs, but I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to put you on something, baby. LPNs make the same thing as RNs if you get that good enough job. And after 7 years, I got a good enough job that paid good. But, I mean, you know, I don't regret the places I work, because it taught me a lot. And, baby, my resume is long, and I have a lot of education. I have so much, like, I just feel like I have so much experience. I have also worked at nursing homes. That's another job you could do through a temp agency, where you can tell the temp agency when you want to go to work. FYI, staffing agencies will pay you more. When I was working for hospice, one of the nurses was like, you should come work for us. They wanted me to come through them, but she was like, we probably not gonna pay you like they pay you. And I was like, oh. So times are different. When I started off, I wasn't making that much, but that was in 2011, and now it's 2019, and they are starting you off with more. But that's because the cost of living is higher. So, you know, but if you have any questions, let me know. But those are the top, I think I mentioned 10 jobs that you can work as a mom, as a single mom, as well, because it's a struggle out here in these streets, baby, trying to take care of these kids and get them to school, and you got to pick them up from school. You may can't afford aftercare. But if you have a question about any of the jobs I mentioned, leave a comment below, and I would definitely answer it. You don't have to wait for that next video. Please subscribe so you can be on the lookout for that video, but you can definitely leave a comment, and I will definitely elaborate on those jobs. But those are the jobs I've had, and I know I left some of them out because I did a lot of different things for the agencies that I was with, and I loved it, and it was very flexible. And I told them when I wanted to work, because I don't need nobody working me down in the ground. I'm sorry, y'all. I love nursing, but I love my kids too much, and I love me too much. I'm not finna work myself like that. I'm just not. Now, I have worked my butt off, but that's because I wanted to, not because somebody made me do it, you know. So anywho, if you're interested in any other videos about nursing and being a mom in different places you can work, or have a question about the jobs I just mentioned, let me know. Leave a comment below, and I will see y'all again soon. Love y'all, and have an awesome day, okay? Because I'm about to go pick up my kids right now. Bye, y'all.